Welcome to today's podcast with Louise and Diane. Today we're going to be talking about quoting. We recently produced a brilliant, if I say so myself, a brilliant webinar, great feedback on quoting, and they actually got to hear us live. We were pretty mean to each other with objections, weren't we?
You were definitely mean to me.
Then we did a workshop where we listed every possible objection we could think of, and I got hit with all of them.
That's very true. Yeah. Revenge.
It was good fun, wasn't it? So we wanted to talk a little bit about maybe some of our learnings from that webinar, because it's amazing. We present it. We obviously do quite a bit of preparation beforehand. Lots of slides go into it, lots of thoughts. But everything we ever do, we end up learning more. Maybe not more than everybody on there, hopefully not more than everything on there, but we definitely learn every time, don't we?
Definitely. And that's one of the great things, is that obviously, we can share our knowledge and everything that we know about having built our cleaning businesses, but we can also learn from other people, because you never stop learning no matter where you are.
Yeah, and it's not just learning new things, it's learning the perspective. And definitely I was quite taken aback. There was a question yesterday and we'd run through exactly how to give a quote and how to build up all the rapport with the customers. And one of the questions was, well, Louise, what if I don't ask? What if I miss a couple of questions? And I was like, what if you do? The questions aren't there for the answers. The questions are there because actually the more questions you ask, the more that you build the rapport, you get on better with people, and you really understand what they're looking for. If you forget to ask something, ask it next time. Phone them up and say, whoops.
And they don't know what you were meant to ask. The questions, like you say, they're there to guide the conversation and to let you get lots of information. Yeah, absolutely. But they're also there just to have a conversation.
So we were going to have a little bit of a play around today, weren't we?
See how brave we're feeling.
Yeah, we did a video quote, didn't we? I had you walking around your house last time. We were asking you to run your fingers on skirting boards, and it was really good because for a lot of people, they don't do video quotes because it's scary, it's new, and we made it really simple.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same as an in-person quote. It's the same as just a telephone quote. You're just asking questions and getting the client to interact with you.
Yep, and you did until your Wi-Fi went down.
Yeah.
But like a good person giving a quote, I'd already prepared for it and I told you exactly what to do, had it gone down, and then it did, which is really great when you're on a live webinar.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've moved on beautifully and glossed over that part. So quoting, shall we start from pretty much the beginning? I'll ask you first, Diane. Do you like quoting?
Yeah, I love it. It's the favourite for me. The marketing and the selling are my favourite bits of the business. And in fact, I was on a call earlier with someone else. It's the hunting, killing bit, isn't it, of the business, in a nice way.
What do you do on your quotes? What do you mean hunting, killing? You mean the competitiveness?
Exactly. I like the challenge of it. I love it. But also, you get to have some great conversations. And because I enjoy it, I think I feel confident and therefore I enjoy it more. So it's sort of like a self-fulfilling thing.
Yeah. Do you know what I actually miss about not going out and doing in-person quotes? I popped out the other day and this lady had twins, 10-month-old twins, and she was clearly struggling a little bit. I was like, do you want me to hold your baby? I was like, yes, I get to hold the baby. I was like, I love it. Like now when I do over the video ones, nobody hands me a baby and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but you don't have to take your shoes off though.
No, and I don't have to drive. And that's the one thing I would say that I love. And this is something we covered last night. Let's say you get a video or a telephone quote a bit wrong. Let's say I get it actually quite wrong and it's an hour out. I underquote by an hour. The reality is that actually by the time I've driven 20 minutes to get there, if I do a video quote, it takes me 20 to 30 minutes. But an in-person quote, I get chatting and I'm there for an hour.
Yeah.
And then you've got a 20-minute drive the other side. Well, I can afford to make an hour's mistake on the actual quote, and I'm still financially better off than doing all these quotes.
Completely agree with you. It just saves you. Your time is your most valuable asset. It's the one thing you can't make more of. So it's the one thing you should conserve. And so, yeah, absolutely. Video quoting, telephone quoting, it's a brilliant way of saving that time.
So, you ready?
Always, Louise, always.
Do you want the ring part again? Shall I actually pretend to ring you?
No.
No. Okay. What are we going to do then? Because we haven't planned this far, have we? Do
No.
you want to? Are you going to be the client, or do you want me to?
No, I'll be the client. And do you want to do the end of tenancy one that we did last in the masterclass?
Yeah, and we'll focus on the kind of questions that I'd actually want to find out. So I'm not going to do a full quote right at the end, just the questions I want to find out about an end of tenancy.
Yeah.
And we'll do a lovely bit of rapport building first. I love a bit of rapport because that's what tells me I really need to know. I don't really need to know how many cupboards well, I do, but whether you're going to go with me or not is going to be entirely dependent on, how much I know about you, quite frankly.
And whether I like you. People buy from people they like, Louise.
Is it like, or is it actually you just need to trust that I'm going to get your deposit back?
Yeah,
you just need to trust that I'm good enough at what I do that you get what you want. So, and sometimes they just need the receipt. But anyway, right, we'll move on from that. Let's assume you have to like me, and maybe you will, maybe you won't, hopefully you will. Okay, game face on. Let's go for this. Okay, so go on, you can ring me.
Ring, ring.
I can't get over that part. Okay.
I know. Hello, Louise. Louise.
Okay, hello, Louise speaking. I'm not going to give the name of my company. I'll just be hello, Louise from the cleaning company speaking.
Hi, Louise. I'm looking for a clean of my flat. I'm moving out and I need it sorting before I leave.
Perfect. To give me an idea then, are we looking at a full end of tenancy clean and we're looking to get your deposit back?
I think so. Yeah, I guess I'm ending my tenancy. That must be what it's called.
Perfect. And normally people call us because actually it's cheaper to get the cleaners in and guarantee you get your deposit back than they call us in afterwards. So perfect. Now, just before I start, we offer cleaning. Quite often people might want oven cleaning and carpet cleaning, and we don't cover that. Is that something you're looking for as well?
Yeah, is that something that you'd be able to arrange for us?
I would love to, and we do work with other companies that do that. Unfortunately, if you went through us, I'd have to charge you VAT on top of that. So what I do is give you their numbers directly. So we've got a wonderful local oven cleaner and a brilliant carpet cleaner. The one thing that I will say about getting your oven and carpet done at the same time as having us there is your house is already clouded when I've got a team of people in there. Please, could you not arrange it at the same time that we're there? So before or after, we can work any way you like, but please not at exactly the same time.
Oh, thank you. That's really useful advice.
Okay. Otherwise, we're trying to clean parts of the kitchen and the oven cleaning guy is in there with all his chemicals, taking up all the floor, and we're going, well, we need to clean underneath you. So, right, let's get a bit of an idea as to what we're going to clean then. So tell me more. How many bedrooms? Did you say it was a one-bedroom flat?
It's a two-bedroom flat. Yeah.
Two-bedroom flat, and we're doing, I'm guessing when you say two bedrooms, are we talking master bedroom and spare bedroom, or?
Yes, yeah. I kind of use it as my study.
Nice. And will your flat have no furniture, and will it be empty?
Yeah, it'll be empty. Yeah.
Okay, so when we say no furniture, is it anything staying? Will the bed and things be there?
No, nothing. But the fridge, freezer and things like that will be there, but no furniture.
Fine, so we've got empty apartment, but we'll still need to go inside kitchen cupboards. I'm guessing you've got built-in cupboards?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll need to get inside the kitchen cupboards, built-in cupboards, bathroom cupboards.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just one bathroom cabinet, I think. Yeah.
Okay, and how many bathrooms have you got?
Just one.
Just one main bathroom, no ensuite?
No.
Perfect. And as for the rest of the flat, are we talking one big living area, or tell me more?
Yeah, it's just two bedrooms, living room, separate, a hallway, and then just the kitchen. The kitchen's got a dining table in it though, so it's a decent size.
Kitchen and living area, lounge?
Yes, just a big lounge.
And will we need to get all the windows as well?
Yes, please. Do you do the outside?
I would love to do flat outside windows, but unfortunately we don't offer that. Again, I can give you numbers of window cleaners. I've got to say, most landlords don't expect you to do the outside. Normally, they would take care of that part. But
okay.
Check your agreement. But unfortunately, we don't offer that. We do, however, do the inside. Now, what sort of condition are you in at the moment? So I'll ask some quite specific questions. In the bathroom, is there any mould or limescale?
There's limescale because we've got hard water.
Limescale. And when we talk about limescale, if we talk about the shower door, how see-through is it?
Probably not very.
Not very see-through. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. And obviously, I'm on the telephone, so I'm visualising a normal-sized flat. But I also know in some of the areas where I operate, there are flats that are bigger than my entire house. Just so I know, are we talking your average size flat here?
Yeah, I would say it's not huge. The main bedrooms are good double. The spare bedrooms are small double.
Okay, and condition of the flat at the moment, what's it looking like? Is it in pretty good order? And actually, we're just going to have to do skirting boards behind where the furniture was, or actually, is there quite a bit of dust all over?
No, I don't think it's very dusty.
Not very dusty. Okay, and windows again? Any specific marks, fingerprints, face prints?
No, but I don't think I've cleaned them since I moved in.
Okay. Am I likely to have sort of mould where we get a little bit of condensation? I hate asking this because you feel so awkward about your house, don't you?
It's not my house we're talking about.
It's not yours, no. But you know what? I say that to customers anyway, I would say. Anyway, let's keep going. Get back into character, Diane. And that was actually a part of my script. Don't turn into you. Okay. Sorry. So windows need a little bit more attention.
Yeah.
Okay, now kitchen. Now, if I ask you to just touch the tiles just above the hob with the back of your hand, are they sticking slightly?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
When you say maybe, are you there now?
Yes, it's sticking a little bit, Louise.
Okay, now I'm going to ask for more details. Okay, and obviously we'd expect that a little bit behind the hob. What about around the rest of if you move sort of half a metre away from the hob and touch the tiles again with the back of your hand, just lightly, what are they like?
Yeah, they're not sticky, but they do need cleaning.
Okay, are we talking splatter marks kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, lovely.
I'm a messy cook, what can I say?
Amazing. And now all the cupboards will be empty, won't they?
Yes.
Perfect. How many cupboard fronts have I got? Or you got, not I. I'm talking as if I'm going to clean this. How many cupboard fronts have you got in the apartment?
I'll count them for you, Louise. There's 10.
10? And drawers on top of that?
Yes, so I've got one set of drawers.
When you say set, I'm thinking cutlery drawer, something,
there's
whatever you keep in the middle drawers.
3 drawers.
And then pan drawer at the bottom. When you counted cupboards, we're counting under the sink of the cupboard as well?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, are we going inside your fridge?
Yes, it will need. Do I need to defrost it?
What conditions it in? It depends. Some people unplug it and leave it open. Obviously, you can't do that if it's thick with ice in the freezer. So, what's the agreement with your landlord, and what would you like us to do? Because obviously, we can clean it all and we can defrost the freezer. But I just need to know what we're doing and what you're doing.
Yeah, it will need doing. I don't think I'll get time to do it.
Okay, so fridge and freezer. Now, is he or she, your landlord, expecting that to be left on, or are we turning it off and leaving it open?
Yeah, just leave it switched off. That'd be fine.
Switch it off. Perfect. Okay, so we're not doing your oven. We need to get the hob above it as well.
Yeah.
And in terms of access, how's the parking?
I've got my own parking space underneath the block.
Brilliant. And are there gates we need to get through?
Yeah, I'll be able to give you a code.
Perfect. Okay. I forgot I was about to close you there, but I'm actually going to go on and give you the quote here. So, right. So your quote. So looking at what you said, so we've got 2 bedrooms. We've got 1 main bathroom and a little bit of limescale to tackle there on the shower. We've got the hallway, we've got that kitchen, and we've got the lounge. So I'm looking at, if we're getting all the windows as well and going inside all the cupboards, sorry, I'm just adding this up. I'm looking at about 10 hours here. Price-wise on 10 hours, you're looking at 300 to cover all of this. Now, which day did you say you're moving out on? Which day does this have to be? What flex?
I've got to move out by the middle of June. That's a lot more than I was expecting.
I'm really sorry. I always feel a bit guilty when people say that to me. I can understand, unfortunately, it normally does take about 10 hours. Now, if we get there and it doesn't take the full 10 hours to get there, then I'm more than happy to reduce it down. But I've got to say, rarely does it take significantly less than what I'm expecting. If we get there, and obviously you kept it in perfect condition and we don't have to get inside the fridge or freezer, and we start going inside the cupboards and there aren't those lovely rings that I would expect in nearly every house to see, I am happy to bring it down. Unfortunately, that's kind of the price to get it done, and it does guarantee that deposit back, and we put that in there that you won't not get your deposit based on the cleaning. You can find cheaper, I completely understand, but if they then don't do it properly or they don't turn up, and the main problem is they don't turn up, and for most people what they find is they move out and they need the keys back within 2 days. If your cleaners don't turn up, it's you that ends up doing it. So
yeah, I've got to hand the keys back the next day.
So, and that's the reality for us. Yeah, that's the price. So sorry, my doorbell just rang there. So that's unfortunately the price. I mean, do you want to go ahead? Obviously, if you can find cheaper, I completely understand. But I do know other people, particularly when you're in a sort of time-pressured situation, we're not going to be able to do this with a day or two's notice. The only reason we can do this now is we're looking in a couple of weeks' time. So when is it specifically, just so I know we can actually do what you're asking for? I didn't ask right at the beginning. When do you need this done for?
I'm just going to random date, 12th of June. It needs to be done on the 12th of June.
12th of June. And does it need to specifically be that date, or could we do a day before or after?
I suppose it could be the day before if it had to be, but not the day after. I've got to hand the keys back the day after.
Okay. So how are we going to work with the oven cleaners and carpet cleaners? Are they... because it's going to take a couple of days here, isn't it? Especially if we're doing 10 hours, we're going to be there. If I put 2 staff on it, it's 5 hours.
Okay, so if you did yours on the 11th, I could maybe get them booked for the 12th.
Okay, perfect. So we're looking at the 11th. Okay, so we've got quite a tight time schedule here, haven't we? So I'll just check the diary.
Lucky I didn't ask for it tomorrow.
It's not happening tomorrow. I don't think I could even quote and say no to that one. There's just no way it would happen tomorrow. I'm so sorry. We are absolutely chocker. You're going to find good cleaners at the moment are chock-a-block. Normally we have like a 6-month waiting list. It's been through most of the pandemic, but at the moment we're down to about 2-3 weeks. So we can get that booked in. Do you want me to pencil that in? I know obviously you were saying about wanting cheaper. Obviously, absolutely fine. If you find someone that is reliable, I can cancel it from there. But do you want me to get that penciled in?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Right, I'm going to stop there. Now I would go on and do more and more and more. I actually don't think that was my best quote. It's a real one. It was an unprepared one. I was like, I don't even know where I'm going.
It's okay, but you know what, you gave the quote, and actually, when I didn't throw a load of objections at you, because that's not what we were doing on this podcast today. But you're going to get the price objection, especially with one-off cleans, because people don't understand how long it takes. They don't understand how much it costs, and handling the price objection is the biggest skill, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's not even what you say, it is staying calm. And I handle my objections with brutal honesty. Do you know what? You can get cheaper, but good luck with finding that and getting the date you want. It's not threatening, is it? It's just the reality of the industry. I know what it's like. I've seen it too many times before. And particularly in my area, there is so much competition, and people always say it's area based. Well, where I'm based, there is so much competition. There are hundreds, and every other cleaner is cheaper.
Yeah.
So when they throw that at me, there's not much defense other than yes, you can get it cheaper. But I also know the other cleaners, if they're good, they're fully booked, and if they're not good, they're going to let you down. So you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that confidence though, isn't it? And that's where all this comes from, is that confidence that you know your team will do a good job, you know it's actually a good price, a reasonable price for the job, makes it worthwhile you doing it, and you know that, you know, especially if we're quoting an end tenancy, they're going to get their deposit back. It's all round just self-confidence.
Would you have negotiated if they said, I want 250? Now, obviously, there was no chance of me negotiating. It's kind of, that's the price. That's why it's the price. Take it or leave it. I know I'm probably doing 5 other calls that day and I'll just get it booked up. But I mean, would you have negotiated?
I would, if anybody ever says to me, that's a lot more than I was expecting, I would always answer that with a question of, what were you expecting, so that we can get an idea as to whether their budget and the actual what it's going to cost anywhere that can be sort of not negotiated, but are we too far away, I suppose, from each other? But I'll never discount. I'll only ever reduce the cleaning time.
Yeah, that's all you can do, isn't it? If this person wants an end of tenancy, well, I could do your end of tenancy in 4 hours. We'll get the kitchen done. Do you want to do the rest? Yeah, I probably could have negotiated. I think for me, on an end of tenancy, I probably wouldn't negotiate, because it ends up, by the time you start negotiating and saying, okay, I'll do just this amount, and they're left with the rest. And then, you know, if there's any problems, it all falls down to me anyway. And I just don't, from a management point of view, honestly, it's not worth the negotiation. I do it all and I take responsibility, or I don't take the job on. I don't think on an end of tenancy I would negotiate. I would on a regular clean where you've got a relationship, an ongoing thing, but maybe I'm a bit brutal.
No, I think you're right. I think there's an element of managing the customer expectations is always key in this quoting process, isn't it? But you know what, especially with an end of tenancy where they've got a deposit at risk, which is usually the whole reason they want the end of tenancy in the first place, you can't guarantee they'll get the deposit back if they won't pay what they need to pay. But sometimes if it's a spring clean in somebody's house, I'll say, well, what rooms do you want us to miss out? What are your most important rooms? And then give them an actual realistic, well, okay, in 5 hours, we could probably do your kitchen and the downstairs, but we won't get to the bathrooms. Is that going to be okay for you? So it's just kind of figuring out what the client actually wants and see if you can meet their expectations and budgets. But if you can't meet their expectations, then forget the budget. It's just not worth the hassle.
And also, if I'm honest, I probably wasn't concentrating fully when you gave me that quote. If I'm honest, I think I probably slightly underquoted you. When I booked in 10 hours, I'm thinking actually it probably was nearer 12. Again, you know, my biggest fear is like underquote. And therefore I just can't.
Yeah.
You know, and if somebody says, oh, you know, if I got the kitchen wrong, let's say, and I put in about 3 hours, it could take me 4 hours. You know, if I've overquoted on something else, it will balance out normally. Whereas if it's like, right, I just want a 3 hour kitchen clean, the reality is I might not get it done in 3 hours. So I need the leeway elsewhere.
And I think that's why a lot of people want to go out, because they're so frightened of underquoting. But what I've learned is actually, first of all, we never go out and quote for one-off cleans, because you don't win them all, because the price can be quite high. So it's not worth the trip out. So we've quoted over the phone for one-off cleans for years. And we always not overquote, but we quote based on worst case scenario. And if it takes less time, we'll either reduce the price of the clean or we'll do other things while we're there. But we can't afford to lose money on one-offs. It's just, they can just go awry so easily. So a kitchen is this many hours, a bathroom is this many hours, and it's just a set formula. So you don't need to see it.
Yeah, agreed. Although it does help sometimes. And this is why I like the compromise. I've got to say I would video quote it because, you know, why not? It's so easy. Do you know, I had one today. I invited them to a video quote, and for some reason they must have read the message wrong, and they sent me a video of their house. They walked around it for like 2.5 minutes, and I was like, okay, watching this video going, all right. And I was like, this isn't the way I quote, but then I was like, I could quote on this. So I gave them a quote, but you know, even with a video, the less detail they give me, I need to talk. I need to find out exactly what they want. So if they don't give me the detail, I looked at this house and I was like, I'd probably be quoting about 8 hours, but I quoted her 12 because she'd written a little bit of blurb with it, and she seemed to be asking for quite a lot. So I upped it. But if it was real life, I'd be pushing on those and going, well, actually, what do you want? And the reality is they probably would have only wanted 8 hours. But if she didn't want to commit to a video call with me, then I'm probably not going to have great communication. I don't know what she wants. Therefore, my only option is to do everything.
Yeah. And I think also when you're quoting for a one-off, it's slightly different. It's the process. It's a lot of the questions are the same, of course they are, but somehow the process and the relationship is slightly different, isn't it? Because one-off, it's like not quite take it or leave it, but it kind of almost is. Whereas with a regular service, you're going to have to understand what that client really wants on a regular basis, and can you meet that expectation? Because you're going to have to manage that relationship. So it's much more important to get it right.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I've got to say, I don't do a lot of end of tenancies because we've only got very few slots available for your bigger cleans. So your 10, 12, 15, 20-hour cleans. I don't have a lot of slots for those. So I would rather put in a first-time clean slot, because then I can have ongoing cleans from there. And if I don't keep them free for first-time cleans, then how do I fit in when a 15-hour one comes along?
And the best thing about having a domestic cleaning business for me is you've got regular clients. So, you sign up Mrs. Smith for 3 hours a week and they stay with you for years, hopefully. So it's a much more predictable business model. So, it's better to build your business around those regular slots.
So is it? Now, this is an interesting topic I talk about regularly. Yes, you've got repeat business. You know what you're doing in 6 months' time. But you also know that you can get higher rates for your more specialist, your one-off. I need, even if you do oven cleaning, it's at a higher rate. Your one-off cleans are generally at a higher rate. So that's not bad. If you're a solo cleaner and the work is coming in, why would you not build up on the higher profit margin jobs?
I think so. But for me, it's one of the challenges as well of growing a business is recruiting. And it's quite hard to predictably recruit if you're only booked 3 weeks ahead, which most oven cleaners and carpet cleaners, perhaps they're a bit longer ahead at the moment because the market's very busy. But it's hard to balance your business and grow a team when you've not got predictability. You have to build a marketing machine to keep that filled up. Yes, if you're a solo cleaner, you probably would go for the higher margin things, definitely.
So I think this is really interesting. And this is a topic I often talk about with people. And I'm going, well, what is your business plan? And they say, I do end of tenancies and I make lots of money, and they get a higher profit margin than they believe they can get for domestic cleaning. And I'm going, first of all, it's not true. You can get it for domestic cleaning. But anyway, there's kind of two models, aren't there? And I think people get it quite confused. If you want to grow and have a big team, then you really do need regular work. Now, I'm not saying you can't do that with end of tenancies, but you have to have relationships with quite a lot of estate agents. You need to be doing your house builders. You need to have your after builder cleans. And if you want to go down those contract routes, it's possible. But it's quite hard to build a sustainable team of any size when nobody knows what they're going to be doing. And the benefit of domestic cleaning is actually predictability.
Yep.
If you're doing one-off cleans, then it is higher profit margins, but then you can't grow the team. So it's one way or the other.
Yeah. And for me, it starts off with what business do you want? So, quite often when I'm sort of talking to people in the industry, it's like, well, what do you want out of this business? Are you wanting to be working, going out cleaning, or are you wanting to build a team that goes out and cleans for your business and you spend your time running the business? Often there's a big balancing act between the two for quite a long time for most people. But it really sort of starts with, well, what are you trying to build? And it's very hard to build a team around, you don't see that many big carpet cleaning businesses running big teams. You don't see many big oven cleaning businesses. They're out there, but there's not many of them compared to.
So what's your tips, Diane? If right now I was a cleaner and I worked with one other member of staff and I went, Diane, I really want to grow my team. I really want to, but I cannot recruit. I can't recruit at all. What should I do?
Lots of things you can do. First of all, it's usually the price, isn't it? So it's usually make sure you're charging enough to make it worthwhile having a team.
Yeah, well, I'm charging £17 an hour. I think that's worth it. That's way more than I was getting before. So I am really happy with what I charge. I'm the most in my area. No one would possibly pay more than that for my service. I promise. I tried quoting £17 and 2 pence, and nobody took me up on it. So I know that £17 is the maximum.
That's the
anyone
absolute
will
limit
ever
for your
pay.
area, is it?
Absolutely, literally 2p more, and they wouldn't touch me.
Yeah, and we hear that all the time. That
This conversation.
It's all about area, isn't it? And it really
Sure.
genuinely isn't. It's nothing to do with your area, because every area has £10 an hour cleaner, and every area has £25, £30 an hour cleaners, and everything in between. It's more to do with your sales skills. So, hopefully you might have picked up a few tips from Louise, or certainly the masterclass that we did for the DCBN. There was a lot more content in there about how to quote. It's your sales skills that you need to work on, because if you can't charge enough, you won't be able to build a team, and they'll just cause you more. You'd be better off staying as a solo cleaner.
And this is the point I sometimes get to with some people. I'm like, actually, do you know what? Why are we slogging this? Yes, I can teach. Yes, I can teach you to recruit. Yes, I can teach you to manage the team. Yes, we can do processes. And yes, we can do systems. And yes, we can do software. But if that is not where you want to go, please just tell me now. And we can look down the much easier, much more profitable route. If you do not want to run a big team, then you would be better off specializing, charging a higher rate. You're going to have less stress, and you will make about the same amount of money as running a team of 7 or 8. And so please tell me now, and let us go down that route, because it's painful for me to guide you through this process. This is not selling my coaching ability, is it?
But that's the fundamental starting point for any business. So even if you're already in business, do you actually know where you're headed towards? It's the starting point. You've got to know why you're doing it and what you're doing. It doesn't mean you have to know all the answers, but you do kind of need to have at least a bit of a picture in your mind as to what you're trying to build, if you are trying to build something.
So I think there was a great quote. I'm not sure where it's from. I think it might be from the E-Myth, maybe. But most people in business are, I'm going to get this right. I should have it to hand. Basically, they are operatives. They are operatives that now work for themselves. Do you know where that's from?
I think is it from the E-Myth, where it's the operative that has an entrepreneurial seizure and decides to start a business?
Oh, thank you for saving me there, Diane. Thank you. So, and this is what happens to most people. They're like, I'm sick of working for this company. They didn't do it right. I can do it better, blah, 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 whatever. I did the same. So I'm saying it like, I did the same. But anyway, and then they have an entrepreneurial seizure, and they're like, I am going to work for myself. Whoop-de-doo. And they do, and obviously it goes really well, and everybody loves them, and they grow really, really fast. But that's not an entrepreneur. That is an operative. And they go, but I don't want to stop cleaning. I don't want to sit and do admin all day. I don't want to manage really challenging team members, and I don't want to do all of these things. And actually, if you do want your bigger business, well, you've got to kind of get to grips with a lot of those things.
Yeah. We talked about that in a previous podcast, didn't we? Where we talked about how you have to grow as your business grows, because who you are at the beginning is not who you are as it grows. Most of us aren't born to know how to do this. We have to learn.
So should we do a quick one, Diane, where I get to be the customer?
No, we're not doing that.
Are we not? No,
because you just throw 17 objections at me.
I'm not going to object too much. Just pitch the price to me. I'll give you a really easy setup. Go on the spot, Diane.
Okay, no problem. So if I frame it up, so what my key thing is when I have an inquiry about cleaning is I want to have a conversation. So they want to know the price, and I want to have a conversation. I want to tell them the price because I don't want to go out and see anybody that can't afford us, but I just want to have a conversation, and I know that they're itching to get the price. So that's how I do it, is to kind of guide the conversation so that I can earn the right to charge my price, if that makes sense.
Okay, so we're going to run through it without going into too much detail about the house, because obviously we had floor plans up and things before. So can we just gloss over too much details around the house? So ring.
Hi, this is Diane from Cleaning Company. How can I help?
I just want a quote. I've got a 3-bedroom house. I just need a quote on how much it's going to cost to get a weekly clean.
Sure, no problem. So it's a regular service that you're looking for, yeah?
Yeah, just a weekly clean, 3 hours a week.
Fantastic. Is it all right if I ask you a little bit about the house and who lives there, so I can be able to give you a quote over the phone?
Is there no way you can give me a quote? I know it's going to take 3 hours. Our last cleaner did it in 3 hours.
Your last cleaner might have done it in 3 hours. We might actually take less. So it's better if I find out a bit more about the house so that I can give you an accurate quote from our team, if that makes sense.
Go on then, I've got 5 minutes.
You're so impatient. Okay, so you told me you've got 3 bedrooms. Fantastic. So how many living rooms have you got?
I've got a lounge, dining room and kitchen.
Brilliant.
Open plan.
So it's all in one, is it? So nice family space. Okay, and who lives in the house?
Me, 2 kids, and we've got a cockapoo.
Okay, brilliant. So just the 3 of you then, and the dog?
Yeah, my husband as well, but he's out of work most of the time.
Brilliant. Okay, and you're looking for a regular weekly service, and you've already had a cleaner. Is that a recent thing, or have you still got a cleaner at the moment?
Yeah, so the cleaner, she's been with me about 5 years. Everything's great, but she's moving on, getting a different job.
Oh, okay, right. It's really difficult to adjust when they move on, but hopefully you're wishing her well, and just looking for somebody who can take over.
Yeah, I need someone as good as her.
Brilliant. And in the 3 hours, was she cleaning the whole house? Was she doing any extras like laundry?
She did the whole house. She alternated things. So one time she would do a couple of the beds. The next week she'd change a couple more beds. So sometimes she did windows. So yeah, she did everything. If I'm honest, I don't really know what she did.
Okay, so it sounds like she might have been working a good housework routine on it. As she kind of got over 5 years, I'm sure she kind of got used to the house and how things worked. So in terms of priority rooms, what we tend to do is work to a priority list. So we start on the most important rooms, and maybe some rooms, if it sounds to me like you might be using all 3 bedrooms anyway and don't have a spare room. But if you've got any rooms that are less used than others, then they'll be a lower priority. So if we were talking about your priorities, would that be your kitchen / living area, family room? Would that be your main priority?
Are you saying you won't get it done?
No, I'm just wanting to make sure that we're focusing, especially when we start, on the right rooms first, so that we can get the routine right for you. Because obviously we've not been doing it for 5 years yet. So we need to make sure that, I'm guiding my team on how to work a routine so we can get into that routine really quickly. So is it kitchen, family room your priority?
Yeah, I suppose that's but I mean, the bedrooms matter to me as well, because we're in them, you've got to breathe the air. But yeah, that family room, we probably spend the most amount of time in. But I don't mind where you guys go. So I'm not there. So
absolutely. So bathrooms, how many bathrooms have you got? Is there just one family bathroom, or is there a downstairs loo?
Yeah, there's a family bathroom and there's a downstairs loo of the
and is there an ensuite for the master bedroom? No, so it's just one bathroom and then the downstairs loo. Fantastic. I'm presuming bathrooms are a high priority for you as well with having a family.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so if we were to work a routine where kitchen and bathrooms, main living rooms, hall, stairs and landing, then the master bedroom were the main priorities. And if we had to work a routine on anything, it might be alternating the children's rooms. Would that be the sort of routine that could work?
Well, the last lady did everything. I think she got everything done within that time. And it wasn't every bed every time. So the beds that she changed.
Yeah, so she was alternating tasks within the rooms rather than alternating rooms.
Yeah, so I expect a good hoover round and dust of them all. Yeah,
so that's fine. We can work a really good routine around that as well. That's how we do things, not a problem at all. Okay, so I suspect that with a busy family and the dog, you probably do need those 3 hours. So I don't think we would be able to get it done in less time. So if you were looking at 3 hours weekly with us, that would be, including VAT, £75 a week. And we bring everything that we need to keep on top of it. Your face, Louise's picture.
I'm pulling faces.
So how does that fit with what you had in mind?
I was paying, Oh no, what was it? £36. That's double.
Gosh. Okay, so yeah, so you've got a really inexpensive gem there, shall we say, in terms of your cleaner. We pay our cleaners a lot more than that, so we wouldn't be able to compete on price, but where we can compete is on the service and the reliability. And obviously, you know, we have holiday cover and things like that, which you don't get with a solo cleaner, but we definitely wouldn't be able to compete on price for a weekly service. You do have an option that you can reduce the time, but and that would obviously reduce the budget, but that would mean that you'd have to compromise on what you were getting done. Or an alternative is we could come once a fortnight, and we might well be able to get it closer to your budget by doing it that way. Would that be something that would work?
I'd have to speak to my husband about that.
No problem. Does your husband help with the housework at the moment?
Well, no, the cleaner does him. Yeah. But she's leaving to go to another job.
Yeah, so she's that's the problem with the industry at the moment, is a lot of people are leaving the industry to go into other jobs because they're perhaps not charging enough to make it worthwhile, which is why, you know, obviously using a business like ours, you get that extra reliability and the service that we can provide. And of course, you know, we've got our team that we train and look after and give them a great job opportunity as well.
Well, I think about that.
Not a problem at all. Well, you know, in terms of day of the week, have you got a preference? And you know, if we've got availability, you know, we can fit you in if you do decide to choose us.
It has to be Thursday morning.
Has to be Thursday morning, not a problem. So you say morning, does that mean sort of between 9 and 12? Is that okay?
I pick up from nursery at 12, so it has to be finished by 12.
Okay, no, that's not a problem at all, because we start at 9, so that'll be fine. We might well be that we're just leaving though, so with a 3-hour
Well, my last lady started at 8 o'clock. Can you do that?
No, because our team have all got children as well, so we're a nice family-run business, so we like them to be able to drop their children off at school, so we don't start until 9, and you'd only have one cleaner with us, so it would be somebody coming from 9 until 12.
Oh.
Well, look, have a think about it, Louise. You know, we've got availability on Thursday mornings. If you would like to go ahead, we're here. You know, we're here to help. Or if you'd like to think about maybe a fortnightly option after you've spoken to your husband, that's okay too.
Well, I do think you're expensive, but I've spoken to 17 other cleaning companies and they are cheaper, but none of them had space for me.
Yeah, well, that's the challenge in the industry. The demand is incredibly high. It's hard to recruit, which is why, you know, we are here to look after our customers and have a great team in place.
Well, I hope you're good. I hope you're good. If I'm paying these rates, if I'm paying for this, I want perfection.
Well, the great thing with us as well, you don't have to worry. If there's anything wrong with us, you've got our team in place to look after you. So you don't have to deal with the cleaner yourself. You know, we ask for feedback and we value feedback because it helps us improve. So, yeah, we are good.
Amazing. Gosh, I put you through your paces there, Diane, didn't I?
£36. £36.
But you know, it's quite interesting. One, you handled it beautifully. It was quite interesting because the meaner I got, you faltered a little bit. And sometimes, you know what, customers are just mean, aren't they? Like brutal with us. And you go, oh, come on.
Yeah. I want to get off the phone now. Yeah, but you know, it doesn't matter. She doesn't know me. You know, it's like.
And you know that persistence, and this is what they do. Now, obviously, she didn't get 17 other quotes. That's ridiculous. But often, you know, they will go out and they may have already spoken to 2 or 3 before they get to you. And actually, they have got cheaper. There are cheaper ones out there, but there's a reason they haven't already taken the cheaper ones. If they know that there's cheaper options, then why haven't they already taken them? Why are they speaking to you? Because the reality is they probably had an inkling that you were a bit more expensive. And most of us, if we're a bit more expensive, they could probably get an idea on the website. And,
you can tell,
So, you know, I would sort of do what you did and keep going because you're proud of what you do.
Yeah. And one thing that came out in the masterclass, though, Louise, wasn't it, that actually neither of us were particularly salesy in our quote until the objection stage. And then it's kind of like you've done a lot of seeding the sale through the call. Obviously, we didn't do a very long call on either of those ones, but you're kind of seeding it all the way through by demonstrating your expertise and building rapport and showing that you understand what the client wants. So you don't have to be that salesy. But yeah, when somebody's throwing you a lot of objections, you do tend to have to justify what you're talking about. But it's normally only ever one price objection. It very rarely goes on for quite so long, does it? It's normally like, oh, that was more than I was expecting. And I'll just go, well, what were you expecting? And then we can see, you know, where we were at. So it's usually
I wasn't letting you off lightly there, Diane.
It's not usually that tough, yeah.
But you know what is nice, and the thing is, I think you and I over our years have both had the tough ones, and you sometimes feel like, I don't know about you, but I've sometimes almost felt like going, don't book me then. And I have you know my approach, I am quite just, you know, I'm quite realistic about what's going on. If something's, you know, if I haven't got space, if I cannot deliver what they've asked for, I will do it. And if they really are pushing me to the nth degree, I'll go, look, do you know what? There are good cleaners. Go and look on Facebook. Please, please just go and have a look on Facebook, because I can't do this. Yeah.
Well, it's like the 8 a.m. thing, isn't it? It's like, no, my cleaners have families too. It's like, no, we're not starting at 8, because I'd never be able to meet that expectation.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Right, Diane, we've been chatting for quite a while here.
Ages, yeah.
So, shall we thank you very much, and thank you for listening to us.
And before we go, if you like the podcast, please like it and share it with your friends, because we'd love more of you to be watching and listening.
Amazing. Perfect. Speak to you all soon.